Welcome back to the show. My name is Scott Stevenson, and our guest today is Joan Miller. I met Joan at the Civil Tongues Toastmasters Club. It's a club which we both belong to, and Joan is the subject of a book, Learning to Make Toast. Welcome to the club, the story, Joan.
Thank you, Scott.
Before we get into the book, why don't you give us some background on you, your family?
Okay, well, I grew up in Southeast Portland, come from a large family, all women. I'm number 4 of 6 girls. We still get together and celebrate all the holidays together, even though they have their own families. And the sisters get together at least twice a year for coffee to discuss, get caught up on everything, and then to discuss any events that are coming up.
Very nice. I love stories about strong families. Sounds like you have one. Joan, you're married, and in this book we're going to be talking about, your husband is mentioned quite often. Tell us a little bit about John.
Good subject. John is my rock. I met him many years ago at a wholesale optical lab, and he was very quiet, which intrigued me because I'm not a quiet person, so I was bound and determined to get him to talk. I did, and we became very good friends, ultimately fell in love, and we've been married for 25 years now. Mm-hmm. He's my calm when I'm chaotic, and my absolute logic when I'm a little bit disorganized. We're a good pairing.
Good pairings are very, very important, especially in a story like yours.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about the book. It's biographical. You're the subject of the book, and it details what you've been through in your recovery from a terrible ordeal. Tell us what happened.
In a nutshell, John and I were in Ogden, Utah on June 12, 1999, and we were rear-ended by a hit-and-run drunk driver. Then we were spinning the car out of control. Then we were broadsided on the passenger side, which happened to be the side I was sitting on. My head slammed against the passenger window and broke my skull in 24 pieces. Those pieces then went into my brain, some of them sticking in there and some of them carving out chunks of brain matter. I underwent emergency brain surgery for hours, was diagnosed with a severe traumatic brain injury and given a 3% chance to live. I spent 4 days in a medically induced coma and 2 weeks in ICU. When I came out of my coma, I woke up to a world I no longer recognized, and I had no idea where I was. I lost 6 years of my calendar life and 42 years of emotional memory. For my emotional memory, I'll give you an example. John's on my wedding day was just a party in my parents' backyard. And our honeymoon was just a week at the beach. Nothing more, nothing less. I was 42 years old and thought I was 36 and had to relearn how to walk, talk, swallow, feed, and bathe myself, all while experiencing constant double, sometimes triple, and sometimes quadruple vision. I had to relearn the names of all my family members, including my husband and our dog. It took years of physical, cognitive, vision, and occupational therapy just to help me get back on my feet again.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite an endeavor.
A never-ending journey.
Exactly.
Well, you've told us a little bit about your traumatic brain injury. Can you widen the scope a little bit and share your insights on traumatic brain injury, what it is, what it means?
Sure, traumatic brain injury. One thing people should know too, a concussion is a traumatic brain injury. It's a mild traumatic brain injury. There's traumatic brain injury, which is a jolt to the head or a blow to the head, and it could be closed head or open head, but like with a concussion, that's closed head. And it results in the brain shaking, and that's where the injury comes in.
Wow.
There's also the acquired brain injury, which is stroke and a brain bleed, but there's many different types of brain injury. They all need to be addressed properly, diagnosed properly, and taken care of properly.
And soon.
And very soon after, right.
The quicker the better.
The quicker the better, that's exactly right.
Joan, I can't imagine what you've gone through to get to this place in your journey. Can you quickly share some of the events that were major milestones in your recovery?
Oh, major milestones. The biggest was I discovered my purpose. I realized why I survived that crash, and it was absolutely great. And it ultimately led me to volunteering with Oregon Impact and speaking with Oregon Impact, something I hold dear to my heart. I'm totally devoted.
And what exactly does Oregon Impact do?
Oregon Impact provides educational experiences to end impaired and distracted driving. So saving lives is what we're all about.
And that organization, does it reach out to different groups? Exactly how do they get their message out other than you?
Well, I speak on a victims impact panel through Oregon Impact in Clackamas County to an audience made up of DUI offenders. And we also go into the schools with Oregon Impact where we get invited to many schools where we can share our message of good choices before you get behind the wheel of a car. And also, I also speak about brain injury to these audiences too, to the students. But the more important thing is good choices.
Good choices are extremely important in everything that we do.
Absolutely.
And thank you for doing that. In your recovery process, it's taken years because this accident happened in
1999, June 12th.
1999. So we are looking at your 19th year
Right.
of recovery. So this has been a very, very long journey. And in the book, you detail a lot of the front end things that you went through. But since you've been discharged and a lot of your aftercare has gone away, what do you focus on now to help you get even further in your recovery?
Making a change in someone's life, opening up people's eyes to how they should take care of themselves. If they bump their head, maybe see stars, so to speak, you need to see a doctor. If your child keeps falling down and you keep forgetting where you put your keys, I mean, these are little microcosms or chasms or whatever that word is of things that you need to pay attention in your life. And most important, make good choices when you're behind the wheel. No more texting and driving. No more, put your phone down. And obviously, don't get in the car after you've been drinking. And don't get into a car when someone's been drinking and wants to.
Clearly. Very important words.
Absolutely.
So Joan, I know personally that you belong to Civil Tongues Toastmasters. What has Toastmasters and that club in particular done to help you with your recovery?
That club is so great. I love the people in that club. They've helped me so much. I have so different audiences, different age groups, different messages that I need to get in front of these people with, and Civil Tongues, the members of Civil Tongues have helped me tailor my presentation so that I'm more effective to each audience with what I'm saying.
Well, I have seen your progress just through that one club. I saw when you came into the club, I saw it when you gave your first speech, you're very nervous. Right now you're a very polished speaker. And I think that that type of training could do a lot for people with traumatic brain injury. Do you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because your self-esteem is one of the biggest hits that traumatic brain injury, any brain injury, takes a toll on a person. And being able to be confident in yourself, just to address people, is so important. And Toastmasters is where it's at. Civil Tongues is where it's at.
Well, we enjoy having you in that club. As someone who goes through traumatic brain injury begins their recovery, because I don't want this to be a platform about Toastmasters, but what other things can they do to help them gain that self-confidence you just talked about?
Well, the most important thing for them to do, and this is what I would suggest, is to make sure, first of all, you're seen by professionals who are specialized in traumatic brain injury or brain injury in general. That way you get the diagnosis that you need. You need to see a behavioral optometrist or a neuro-optometrist, because your eyes are not working the same level that they used to, even though you think they might, they're not. There's a lot of different little things that you need to pay attention to. Most important, those professionals.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the excerpts in this book? The book is full of stories. What are some of your favorite stories in this book?
My favorite stories are what I learned after the fact that when through interviews, when Kelly was interviewing the therapist, my occupational therapist, Michelle Moffat, love her. She was just fabulous with what she had to go through in order to find the job. Because see, when I after my injury, I had no idea that I woke up into a parallel world. So I thought the whole world had changed, and I was the only one who hadn't. So I was being held captive in what I thought was St. Mary's Academy, my high school, and it was actually real. I was just completely didn't know where I was at and what I was doing there, but I was being held captive because these people needed a paycheck. And yeah, it was crazy. And so Michelle was able to get through to what, you know, how best she could help me, because I was going through the therapies, but because I didn't see the injury, I wasn't going through them with the intent of getting better.
Well, that is good information. Of course, anybody who has TB, I probably wouldn't remember that story.
Right.
But we'll revisit that with
Good
them
point.
later on.
Good point.
But can you tell us a little bit about how we can find this book?
Sure. Learning to Make Toast has its own Facebook page. Yay! And you can, and it's available at Amazon or at BookLocker. But go to the Facebook page. You can leave a message and all kinds of fun stuff.
All right, there you go. If anybody in the audience wants to contact you for more information on you or the book, how would they go about getting hold of you?
Well, I have a website. You can go to joanwins.com. I also have a Facebook page, Joan Miller, and you can get a hold of me through there. Either way. Also, go back to Learning to Make Toast. You can get a hold of me through there, or the author, Kelly M. Sharp. Leave messages, and we will return your calls.
All right. Joan, I want to thank you for taking the time to share your story with us and your amazing journey in the book, Learning to Make Toast, which can be found on Amazon. Joan and I both belong to Civil Tongues Toastmasters, which meets every Wednesday in the Portland State Office Building in Portland. We love to have guests. Stop by and check us out. We'd love to have you see what we do.